And this is where it's a bit tough because I need to come up with a plan. Like, okay, great, I castled. Okay, great, I got my pieces out. Okay, but now what? Like, I've lost many games when my opponent just gets their knight to e5. Hello, everyone. This is round 5 of the Central Pennsylvania Championship. I just finished it today, and heading into this round, I was 3.5 points out of 4, and I'm on board 2. There's only one other person who has more points than me, and that's Peter Minear on board 1. He's playing someone else who has 3.5 points. So, but if they draw and I win, then I tie for first. And if Peter Minear wins and I win, then I get clear first. So big possibilities. I am in a must-win situation to get any money at all and to get first or second place. So it's a must-win game for sure. And yeah, I'm playing an 1880 rated opponent, and I'm excited to share this game with you. Tournament details in the description below. He starts out with d4, and just as the description above my head over here, London is venomous, it is. And the way he plays it especially is. And I play e6, and the move order, okay, I need to backtrack here for a second. So bishop f4, making it a London. e6, then he plays c3. So I play knight f6, developing my knight like normal. He plays c3. And I play e6. Most London players don't start with c3. Most start with e3, or they play knight f3. So, but it's all the same. But when I'm talking about London being venomous, that's what I'm talking about. Like, the move orders are very, very flexible. I actually find the London gets a lot of hate because like it's boring and it's like yada yada. But actually, like, it can be really tough because sometimes they're going to, how should I put this? Like they could even castle queenside. Like, if you look on the first few moves here, like after c3, e6, knight d2, I play bishop d3, bishop d6. I mean, he goes bishop g3. So if I take, he's going to open up his rook, and he really wants that, especially if I castle kingside. And then I do actually end up castling, and he plays queen c2. So he developed all of his queenside first, didn't even touch his kingside yet. Like, that's a bit different. That's very strange. Like, most people develop with their knight and play e3 earlier, and it's very interesting, and it does actually matter a lot. Like, it matters a whole lot actually, as we'll see throughout the game. So the London does absolutely have a lot of venom. Okay, so I castle. He could play queen c2, and I play c5. So I'm striking in the center. This is a very principled move. I'm going to try to control as much of the center as I can. So if possible, if he gives me a ton of moves, I'm going to go queen c7, knight d5, knight b d7, and play e5. So if I can put 3 pawns in the center, beautiful. I'm going to try to control the center as much as I can, give my pieces to good squares, play regular chess. That's what chess is all about, putting your pieces on good squares. He plays e3, opening up the door for his bishop, and I play b6. I could have played knight c6 here. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that. I could also play queen c7, trying to control the e5 square even more as well, like I just said. But I actually decided to go for b6 with the idea of fixing this bishop. So this bishop is bad because I'm staring into my own pawn, and it doesn't have that much scope on its home square. So by playing b6, now I'm opening up a new avenue for my bishop, either on b7 to go on this nice long diagonal, or after bishop d3, bishop a6, guarded by my knight. And we see this often. Or we see this. I do this kind of frequently against the London, because but it's very important to note though that you have to be castled to do a move like bishop a6. Like, if we just instant rewind for a second here, let's say I tried to do the exact same thing, but I played b6, e3, bishop a6. This would be a horrible blunder because of bishop takes, knight takes, and queen a4 check, winning the knight on a6. But if we go to what actually happened in the game, bishop a6, I'm already castled, so queen a4 check is not possible. And if he did do queen a4, just go back, and life is good. So I play bishop to a6, and this is where he plays f4. And I've found these stonewall type of positions hard to play against. And a stonewall attack or stonewall structure is when your opponent plays d4 and also f4. So they're clamping down on the e5 square. And if black isn't accurate, it can be kind of tough to play against. It can be really tough to play against. So, but honestly, this is a better version of the stonewall because usually the bishop for white, this bishop on g3 is usually stuck on c1 and it's staring into its own pawns and it's a very bad bishop. But in this case, the bishop is really great and can even go back to h4 and put pressure on the knight here. So so I feel a little bit uncomfortable in these positions, but it's probably because I don't play against it too often. Like I don't even play against the London that often. Most people they play either the Queen's Gambit or e4. Not many other d4 lines other than the Queen's Gambit. Okay, but since he plays f4, that means my knight is not on ace. So like if he took here and then played f4, then I have to move my knight back to b8 and then to c6. So I have to, because my knight really sucks on a6. So I really want to get onto a nice natural square. But because he did not take my bishop, he played f4. Now I take him and play knight c3. And now after knight f3, do you see how it's my move now? Like, and now I get an extra tempo because he didn't take my bishop on a6, forcing me to take with my knight. So I actually think that this was something that he might have overlooked. Like he probably should have taken my bishop on a6 to force my knight to go to on a6 because I have to reroute it backwards back to c6 anyways, or back to a better square anyways. I think for a while here, let me see. I don't even write how much I think about it. I think for at least 5 minutes here, probably closer to 8 minutes. And this is where it's a bit tough because I need to come up with a plan. Like, okay, great, I castled. Okay, great, I got my pieces out. Okay, but now what? Like, I've lost many games when my opponent just gets their knight to e5, and like, if I ever take it, then he has this crazy strong center, and I'm gonna get absolutely blasted on the king side. Like, I've had many games like that. So I thought taking on d4 was actually a good move, but it's actually not. It's actually, spoiler alert, it's actually not. So I thought he was almost assuredly going to take with the c pawn, because now he gives up the control of the b4 square. So his pawn was on c3 controlling b4, but now it's not. And I can go knight b4, attack his queen. I can control the open file, and after he castles, maybe I can play this move. Actually, I was actually expecting to play knight d4 here after he moves his queen. And if he takes, then I get my knight to d6 or to d3 with check. And if he doesn't take, I thought, I'm attacking the bishop, which is good, and I thought this was good for me. And I thought he couldn't go e takes d4 because his f4 pawn is too weak. But then after I took on d4, and he took back here, I was like, oh my goodness, that reasoning was so bad. Like, yes, this pawn on f4 is a bit weak. It's only guarded by, like, if he castles here, then I just win the pawn on f4, which is good. But the issue is, like, he can just easily defend it with move knight e5. And knight to e5 blocks the bishop's vision on the f4 pawn. And it's also a move that he already wants to play. Like, he already wants to play knight e5, so I'm helping him play that move. And if I play a move like knight takes bishop, then now his rook opens up towards my king, and he can just castle queenside, and I'm going to be defending for the rest of my life. Like, h6, honestly, just g4, g5. Like, right? Like, why not? Like, why not? Like, this is extremely scary for black. And I was like, oh my goodness, why did I play c takes d4? Oh, that being said, it's not that bad. It's just not good. I was looking at this game with my opponent, Benegopal, after the game. And Peter Minear was also looking at the game a bit too. He said that a common plan in a position like this would be knight e7, knight f5. So for example, knight e7, castles, knight f5, and if he wants to save his bishop, now I can go bishop d6, and I can rotate my knight back to d6, and this is a beautiful square for the knight, where it controls e4, c5, and also b5 for any future potential queenside play. So he said, that would probably be a good plan to implement potentially. But instead, I take on d4. He takes back and has his open e file like this, and I'm not making that much progress here. I end up playing queen c7 because I know he's going to play knight e5, and that's what he does. And when he plays knight e5, it attacks my knight, and my knight would be hanging, and I still can go knight e7 and knight f5. I still can. I did not think about it. So I did not think about that. Instead, I just played a6. But point is, my queen on c7 guards my knight on c6 because I don't want to take, because I would just get forked, which would be bad. And it connects my rooks with each other, and it's on this half-open c file. So I thought queen c7 made a lot of sense. And now I played a6. So this pawn structure is very much like a Caro-Kann. If you don't know what a Caro-Kann is, just to briefly talk about it, it's when it's an e4 opening and c6, d4, takes. This is an exchange Caro-Kann, and let's say bishop f4 here, and let's say like something like this, for example. Yeah. I don't even know how to say something like this. Like, do you see this pawns though? We got this pawns like this and the two pawns here, while white has the open e file and the 4 pawns on the queen side. Like, do you see that? And compare that to what happened in the game. Exact same structure, right? We got the 2 pawns on the queen side for black, and white has the open e file, and white has the 4 pawns on the queen side. So the exact same pawn structure, which is very interesting to think about. So Peter, after the game, actually asked me, like, oh, that was a Caro-Kann? I was like, no, actually, it was a London. He's like, oh, same structure. And it is the same structure, the same pawn structure, which is just a kind of a fun fact, I guess, not important. Also, queen c7 also eyes the f4 pawn, but like I said, he wants to play knight e5 anyways. I play a6, trying to launch a minority attack. So that's a very common plan when you have less pawns on the queen side than your opponent, and you have this half-open c file. You want to use your pawns to create weaknesses on their pawn structure. That's kind of like the general premise of it. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to play like a Caro-Kann and play a6, b5, and b4, and try to loosen things up on the queen side. That was kind of my idea. He castles, I play b5, and now he plays b4. And this is when I was like, oh, did I just screw up? If I'm not careful, I'm going to get absolutely suffocated here. Like, for example, if I make a couple lazy moves, like rook c8, knight b3, knight e7, knight c5. These knights are absolute menaces to society. I will never get to play chess. Like, I'm just going to be stuck here defending for the rest of my life. Like, this is bad. When he played b4, I was like, oh no. Knight b3, knight c5 is a huge idea for him. Like, this is bad news bears. This is not good. This is not good at all. But if he can't get his knight there in time to c5, then the c3 pawn could definitely be a long-term weakness. That's for sure. But he does play b4, and I get a little bit nervous. Like like I said, I've lost many games in positions like this before. So I was getting a little bit nervous. And I decided to play knight e7 with the with the idea to play knight f5 and potentially get the knight to d6, like I talked about earlier. And if knight b3, then what was I planning if knight b3? Maybe knight f4 was my idea. Not sure, but it looks like the knight gets here. But I guess if the knight ever does get to c5, maybe... I don't know. This looks so ugly. This looks so ugly. I wonder if knight e7 was just a bad move. Like, maybe I shouldn't have played knight e7. But Venugopal, or Venu, he goes by Venu, I guess. He was saying that a5 is necessary. I wasn't super sure about a5. I thought about it, but I think he said after the game that he would just go a3 here and not take the pawn on b5. And if this pawn was well defended by a knight on d6, for example, like if this knight was already on d6, then this b5 pawn would be well guarded. I could play the move a4. And now he can never get his knight to b3, so to c5. He can move his queen and move his knight over, but in the meantime, I can target the c3 backwards pawn. So that's one idea to keep in mind. But in this position, the pawn on b5 is hanging, and that's not good. That's no good at all. So probably after a3, I guess I would probably take. And I just have this weakness on b5. He has this weakness on c3, but I think he's targeting my weakness better than I'm targeting his. But who knows? Maybe this is okay for me. And if I don't take the b4 pawn, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Like, am I putting both the rooks like this? And maybe I'm slowly going to bring my knight to d6. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. But already, in this position after b4, I felt very, very uncomfortable, and I just felt like my position was worse. And like that's what I'm saying with the London. Like he gave himself flexibility in playing f4, and like I thought he was playing on the king side. Like I was very shocked to see that like he played b4 here. Like I was really expecting him to play rook a e1 and just blow open the king side. Like I thought, okay, I'm gonna play b4. He's gonna play f5. Although in this case, well, yeah, he can play f5 actually here. And if I take, then like he's getting it. He's getting his pieces in. Maybe there's no attack, but like I have to make sure I'm not getting checkmated here. I mean, like maybe instead of even taking with the queen, he takes with the rook, and like maybe if I take, he's gonna like take here. Like I don't know. Like this looks a little bit scary, but maybe it's fine. His knight's kicked, and maybe I'm totally fine here. But anyways, so I thought he was gonna play on the king side here, but b4 makes a lot of sense. And I just I felt very uncomfortable here. And after I played 97, and now he played a4. He's like, oh, you're not playing a5? I'm playing a4. And he's trying to really target this b5 pawn, and there's not much I can do. If I take his pawn, he's going to double up his rooks in the a file, and how am I defending this a pawn? Like, really, how am I? I could play the move rook fc8 and attack this f7 pawn. Then maybe... I don't know. I'm not sure what's the best way to defend. If he plays a move like rook c1 here, then I can then this pawn would be pinned, but he can just take with the rook, so that's no good for me. So maybe he'll play rook c1. Maybe he'll play knight, and then after rook c1, he'd go knight b3, knight c5 still. Maybe that's what he would do. But no matter what you think about the position, like this is bad for me. This is definitely bad for me. So I don't take. I play rook c8 with the idea that after pawn takes, rook takes, and rook takes, if he takes my b5 pawn, I take his c3 pawn. I'm attacking his knight. I'm attacking his pawn, and this pawn on b4 is also hanging because my bishop and queen also attack it. So that was kind of my idea. And the crazy thing is, like, I don't think he has to take. I think he can wait forever. Actually, wait, I'll take that back. This pawn is a huge weakness. It's hard to wait forever. It's hard to wait forever. Like a move like rook here, then okay, wait, the pawn's not actually pinned. For some reason, I thought the pawn was pinned. Well, maybe he has to play a move like this. And once again, knight b3, knight c5. Once again. I think he has to play it slowly and just defend. And, you know, he controls the pace of the game because he controls the pawn break. Like, he's doing a pawn break here, so he can really control how the game goes. So I think he should have played it slowly. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to turn on the engine just for this one part to see what's the best way for him to play. And a4 was good. Rook fc8. And yeah, rook fc1 is a good move. And both rook fc1 and rook fb1, they're both good apparently for some reason. Okay. I'm going to turn off the engine now. Okay, so I play rook fc8. He takes and takes, but he does not take on b5. But he does play the move bishop h4. A very interesting move, but I do feel like he's already, like, he made a huge concession. And that concession was the open A file. Like, I'm in the position now. And his idea is to weaken my king and to target my pawns and my king. And that was his idea. But at the cost of my rook having a free reign on the A file. So definitely some pros and cons with that. So after bishop h4, I play rook a3, attacking the pawn. And he plays knight b1, which is just an ugly move. Like, do you really have to play knight b1? But the answer is yeah. Like, you actually kind of have to. There's not much else to play. Because the pawn is just simply hanging. And in this case, rook c1, then this pawn on c3 is actually pinned because the rook on c1 is hanging. So now it's actually pinned. So it's really hard to defend the pawn. But now knight b1, rook a2, and like my rook is on the second rank, and I could potentially use it as a really strong attacking piece in the future. So Vinu plays queen takes b5, and he's just up a pawn. But I do have activity for it. That's the issue. That's the thing, though. And I play knight f5. And I think what he should do... Well, firstly, if I play knight e5, what's crazy is I just checkmated. That's checkmate. That's crazy. So I play knight f5, tickling his bishop and saying, hey, where you going? If you go back, now I don't play g5. Whoa, that's crazy. I'll probably play the move g6. So I avoid any back rank mate issues. And then after I play g6, now I can play knight e5 and get my knight in and start attacking things, and life is good. Maybe. But I think this is the way he should have played. Play bishop back to f2 and not trade. But the issue is that after knight f5, I'm attacking his bishop. He takes my knight, and now his knight is attacked. And it was really great on the e5 square, really close to my king and really active on the square, and also blocks in the queen and bishop from attacking the f4 pawn. But now he has to move his knight, and he ends up going to g4 to take the f6 pawn. So if I take his f4 pawn, then he takes whatchamacallit. Then he takes my f6 pawn, and if I go king g7, there's a fork here, and I think he was saying there was some sort of checkmate. I think he was saying there was some sort of checkmate here. I forget. Like maybe king h8, there's some sort of mate. I don't really see it though. Although it wouldn't surprise me if there is some sort of mate here with like some pawns or something. I don't know. Okay. But instead of taking the f4 pawn, most simple is just king g7, guarding f6, guarding h6, and life is good. Life is good. He plays g3, guarding his f4 pawn, but now, just look at this beautiful rook on a2. Like, he's up a pawn, but man, oh man, I have the guns, I got the knight, I got the rook, I got everything pointed towards his king. So I play h5, he goes knight f2, and when you have all these pieces pointed towards your opponent's king, you got to look for ways to sacrifice material here. So I play the move knight e3, and after rook e1, I play bishop takes f4. And I am breaking through here. So let's break it down for a second. So knight e3 attacks his rook, so he has to move it. Rook e1 is the most natural square attacking the knight. And I sacrifice my bishop, defending my knight. And if he takes, it's GG, yo. Like, what? How are you going to defend? If you go rook e2, blocking the rook's attack on f2, then simply check, king h1, and mate. And of course, if you take the knight, then queen check and mate. So I sacrifice my rook, I sacrifice my bishop, and he cannot take. He just can't take it. Here he plays queen d3, bringing his queen back. After the game, he said he doesn't think that was a good move. I think we were talking about maybe he should either sacrifice the rook because the position is that bad. Although even now, it's the knight is still hanging actually. So maybe in this position, you probably go knight d3 maybe. But even then, I can keep going. I can take this guy over here. But the idea is that you take the knight. Maybe this is a good way to play. Although it looks awfully scary. But like, maybe it's okay. But maybe it's not. Like, it's a very scary position for white. So he could play knight d3, but he didn't. He ended up playing queen d3. And now I take the pawn on g3. And once again, if he takes, it's just going to be mate soon enough. And whichever way he takes, it doesn't matter. Like if he takes with the queen, then check, defended by my rook, and I win his queen. And same thing with the rook. I'm just going to be winning everything in this position. Actually, it's even worse with the rook, because if here, then takes, and queen takes, and he's getting checkmated, and it is not good for him. So, he goes rook e2 to block the rook's vision on the knight. But now I go bishop takes h2, and it's king moves. And I just want to insert rewind here for a second. Look at how this bishop does his best Pac-Man impression. Waka, 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 waka. Like, damn, like he just ate all those. He just ate all those pieces. So that was pretty, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. But now the king is stuck on h1. So the king had no other legal moves other than h1. And now I get my queen in. And once again, you take the knight, it's mate. And there's only one way to prevent mate, and it's go knight h3. Because I'm threatening to do checkmate on g2 with the help of the knight, and I'm threatening to go to checkmate on g1 with the help of the bishop. So he goes knight h3 to open up a defense on the g2 square, while also defending the g1 square with the knight. And if I take the knight, then it's not super clear. Then he could take my knight with his rook, and his queen guards f1. And I probably have some checks here, discovered check. And this is probably, I guess this is still mate. Maybe, yeah, I guess it is still mate. So maybe I could have taken the knight here, but I just played simply. So after knight h3, I just played queen f3 check. Very simple. He has one legal move. He has two. He could block with the rook and get checkmated, or he could take the bishop and lose his rook, and more than that, lose his queen. But then more than that, also get checkmated anyways soon enough, or lose all his things. It's got to be still checkmate somewhere, right? I guess I'll find out later. But yeah, so after queen f3 check, he resigns. And I end the tournament with 4.5 out of 5. Probably one of my best tournaments ever. I think I played pretty well. And yeah, I was really nervous in the middle game. But honestly, I think it's just my own personal evaluation issue. Like, I think this position is probably totally fine for black, but I was maybe just getting a bit nervous unnecessarily so. But I don't know. I think I'm going to go hit game review and see what the engine thinks and see where the gaps are between my evaluation versus the engine's evaluation. Like, definitely here, I was like sweating bullets, especially here. Especially here, I was sweating bullets. I was a bit scared here, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll hit the game review, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.